Good morning to you all. This is my visualization project for the deaf learners, and the theme I visualized about was nutrition in plants and animals. And our topic today is nutrition types and the nutrient compounds. So by the end of this topic, deaf learners will be able to understand that living organisms have different nutritional requirements and that humans have different requirements depending on their age and other factors. So below here are the subtopics under the topic of nutrition types and nutrient compounds. And this topic is taught in Senior 2 Term 2. Then the first subtopic is the meaning of nutrition and its modes. Then we have nutrients in the food we eat is the second subtopic. Then the third subtopic is food tests. The fourth subtopic is balanced diet. The fifth is nutrient deficiency in humans. That is what I visualized about. And here are some of the keywords in the different subtopics. You have heterotrophic nutrition, you have autotrophic, you have nutrition. In subtopic 2, we have polysaccharides, disaccharides, monosaccharides, nutrients, lipids, minerals, proteins, vitamins. In subtopic 3, we have starch, reducing sugars, non-reducing sugars. In subtopic 4, we have balanced diet, malnutrition. Then the fifth subtopic has anorexia, obesity, and bulimia and eating disorders. So we have different tiers in those keywords. So you have the tier 1 keywords. These keywords, they need simpler explanation for the understanding of deaf learners, and these are frequently used during the teaching of the given topic. And these are carbohydrates, proteins, lipids, minerals, eating disorders. And then the tier 2 keywords, these need deeper understanding for the whole topic. So for example, for deaf learners to understand more of this topic, they should have to understand the deeper understanding of the following words. For example, nutrition, balanced diet, starch, malnutrition, monosaccharides, nutrients, heterotrophic nutrition, autotrophic. So for the whole topic, these are the main words deaf learners, so that they can master this topic, they have to understand these words in tier 2. So we have the tier 3. These ones, deeper understanding for a particular lesson. And for example, in this topic, we have particular words we are going to talk in particular lessons. For example, anorexia, obesity, polysaccharides, reducing sugars, disaccharides, then bulimia. So when we are starting about our topic of nutrition, in simple terms, it can be called feeding. That is the synonym of the word nutrition. And its definition is the process by which living things take in nutrients, or the process by which living things feed. And here are some of the pictures showing us the different living things, how they take in their nutrients. For example, here we see human beings, a picture of a person taking a mango. We see here cows taking in grass. We see here plants taking in sunlight. in the presence of the chlorophyll so that they can make their own food. And we see here amoeba engulfing some food, taking in some food with that quick drawing. Then we have a lion, wild animals, lions, they also take in food. And so here, nutrition is more about what we take into our bodies. As we said, our competence that deaf learners should be able to know the different requirements humans need depending on their age. And here are some of the videos showing to explain the term nutrition and to explain the term nutrition. And here we see that people taking in pizzas, something nutritious, cows taking in grass and plants. And this is the keyword of our whole topic. So if deaf learners understand that that nutrition is the taking in or eating something, they will be able to understand. So under the same, we have the modes of nutrition, and under the modes of nutrition, we have heterotrophic and autotrophic. So we see autotrophic, autotrophic nutrition, we see heterotrophic nutrition, we see autotrophic nutrition, and this is usually seen in plants. This is the process by which green plants make their own food from sunlight. And below are the pictures explaining autotrophic nutrition. And then we have a video explaining autotrophic nutrition, how it occurs for deaf learners to easily relate. Next, we have heterotrophic nutrition. And here, similarly, this is the process by which living organisms depend on other living things for food to survive, and they cannot make their own food. For example, here, man can't make their own food. They have to feed on food like from plants or from animals, from other animals. So that is what we call heterotrophic nutrition. And that is what we call heterotrophic nutrition. Here we have this closet to differentiate them, to show that autotrophic nutrition only occurs in plants, and here heterotrophic nutrition only occurs in animals, amoeba, fungi, and bacteria. However, even some bacteria can carry out autotrophic nutrition, but in rare cases, but mainly it is in heterotrophic nutrition. So again, we look at heterotrophic nutrition. Under heterotrophic nutrition, we have other different types under it. We have holozoic, that is among humans and animals and some insects, insectivorous plants. Then we have saprophytes, saprophytic nutrition. This is under bacteria and fungi. Then we have parasitism. This is under flies, lice, and tapeworms, as you see in the drawings below. Then we have, again, we go to the next. Again, that is heterotrophic nutrition. So the other thing is about nutrients. The other keyword is nutrients. In nutrients, these are compounds in food that provide us with energy. And So in the food we eat, we need to have some nutrients in our bodies. So in brief, if someone talks about nutrients, they are talking about those compounds in the food we eat that provide us with energy. And here is a picture that shows us that when we eat food, the food we eat with more nutrients is similar to the energy we gain in our bodies. So again, we have different examples of food nutrients, that is carbohydrates. We have proteins with their respective pictures. We have lipids, we have minerals, we have vitamins. As we see that vitamins from fruits, minerals mainly from the salt we put in our food, lipids from the fatty foods, for example, oil, for example, oils, and here proteins mainly from eggs, beans, and very many other things. Then again, under nutrients, we have minerals, as we said about minerals. So when we talk about minerals, we include about the iron, calcium, phosphorus, potassium, iodine, sodium, and then fluorine. And we see the different pictures explaining which categories of food can we use to get iron and other different foodstuffs. Then again, about carbohydrates, we've talked about it. Then other food nutrients, we have water. Water is also a nutrient needed in our bodies. And there are various sources of water, as you see in the picture above, in the picture below. So we also have, this is a contextual map explaining about the food nutrients, what nutrients we have in the food, and where are the food sources we get from each type of food nutrient. So another one, when you go to another subtopic of food tests, similarly at home, you have things we use to test sugar in our tea. So it is the same thing we do in the laboratory. We carry out some simple tests to find out which nutrients are present in certain foods. And there are 4. How do we find them? It's about the change of color indicated. If the color indicates the presence or the absence of particular substances in our food. And there are 4, we see different pictures here. What do we do in the laboratory to test different food substances? So here, these pictures clearly clarify what we do in the laboratory to confirm different food tests. Again, here there is a concept map summarizing when we go to the laboratory, we have different tests we carry out. For example, we have the sugars. When we are doing a test using reducing sugars, we carry out the Benedict's test, and you have to see the orange color appearing. And again, in the laboratory, we carry out a food test for fats, and we test it using ethanol, and the positive test result should be a milk white suspension, and so on and so forth. So we have another keyword, which is starch. When we talk about starch, this refers to a white substance occurring widely in plant tissues, mainly in plants, and this is common in potatoes and cereals. So here there is a picture showing us some Irish potatoes, and this is where starch is formed. So when we go to the next slide, we have reducing sugars. These are similar to simple sugars such as glucose. So when in the laboratory, we can also test them, the reducing sugars in different food tests. For example, glucose, as you've seen in the pictures, and you have reducing and reducing sugars. These are also known as the cane sugars, such as sucrose, and you see some pictures of sugar and sugar canes because they contain sugar. Another keyword, we have the balanced diet. This refers to the different types of food and providing adequate amounts of the nutrients necessary for our good health. For example, what the different types of meals. For example, when you eat cassava, lumonde, you eat potatoes, that has the same nutrient, which is not a balanced diet. So for a balanced diet, you have to eat different things. For example, fruits, you have some vegetables, you have some rice, or carbohydrates, for example, chapati, rice. Another thing are the dairy products, for example, milk. The cereals are all beans or peas. Those are also part of the balanced diet. So they have different percentages in a way that are required in our bodies. Then the other thing is, again, about the balanced diet. We have different types of food we need in our bodies, especially for different categories of people. All of us need a balanced diet, but we have different categories of people who need it as we go in context. So another word, we have diet. Diet refers to the food and drink that is regularly consumed by an individual. So what you eat every day. What you eat every day. If at home you eat every now and then, you eat posho beans, that is your diet. But scientifically, we need a healthy diet. For example, you eat posho, you add some portion of eggs, or you add some beans, you add some portion of cowpeas, greens. As you see here in the picture, a father coming back home, seeing a mother, they have prepared different types of food. So this comes to conclude a balanced diet. But diet as it is is what you eat every day at home. I think you've got me right. And then another keyword, we have malnutrition. Malnutrition refers to lack of proper nutrition caused by not having enough to eat, not eating enough of the right things, or being unable to use the food that one does it. So for example, malnutrition, you see in these pictures, you see children who are malnourished are very thin because they have not eaten, or they have been lacking something to eat. For example, you be at home, you don't have food, and you take a month without eating food. This is the way you will look like. So another keyword, we have deficiency, nutrient deficiency, and this occurs when the body is not getting enough nutrients, such as vitamins and minerals, as we talked about above. And this causes different effects on our bodies. As you see, when you're lacking vitamins in your body, you will have some problems with eye vision, like me. When you have problems, if you have little carbohydrates in your body, you'll have goiter, as you see here in our picture here, a swollen neck. Nutrient deficiency has different ways of different effects on our bodies, as you've seen in the pictures below. And we have very many diseases that can come out due to lack of nutrients in our bodies. So we have also eating disorders. Eating disorders, these are serious conditions related to persistent eating behaviors that negatively impact on our health. For example, here, for example, you see here a person having food, but they are not in the mood of eating. They fear eating. They are scared of eating in this picture. And we have different examples of eating disorders. We have bulimia. So we have anorexia and we have obesity. When we come to obesity, this is a state of being very fat, being very huge, like you don't have a format. You eat food and you've grown very fat. So this means you have a lot of fats in your body. As you see these pictures, these cartoons showing it clearly that if you eat a lot of food, a lot of fats, you will grow fat. Another one is bulimia. This is fear to gain weight. For example, here at campus, people don't want to grow fat. They fear to gain weight. So in that, they start to reduce on the food they eat to reduce their weight also. Here they will eat a lot and then they induce themselves. They make themselves to vomit. And then sometimes they say, I'm fasting. I don't want to eat a lot. I want to make campus figure, So that is bulimia. And these are some of the diagrams showing someone has eaten food, very much food, then after they are inducing themselves to vomit, which is very bad. Again, we have anorexia. Anorexia is also another disorder. Here, you starve yourself. It is kind of similar to bulimia. If this is the same thing with bulimia, but here a person starves themselves. They don't eat completely. They don't want food. They send away the food. Then another one, we have carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are energy-giving foods, and for example, the carbohydrates, we have cassava, which contains starch, as we talked about above, the above work. Under carbohydrates, we have the different types, such as monosaccharides, we have disaccharides, and we have the polysaccharides. So when we talk about monosaccharides, as we've said, carbohydrates are energy-giving foods. Here, these carbohydrates of monosaccharides, they have only one sugar molecule, as you see in the picture below. And an example is glucose. We have disaccharides. These disaccharides have two sugar molecules, and you see in this picture. And again, we have the polysaccharides. So when we talk about polysaccharides, we have very many sugar molecules. So in monosaccharides, you have one, disaccharides, you have two, and polysaccharides, very many, more than two, it becomes a polysaccharide. So again here, according to this, as we see, we start from monosaccharides. With monosaccharides, when we add one molecule, it forms disaccharides, and if we add very many, two or more, it forms a polysaccharides from that word step. So we go to the assessment activities from the different subtopics as I wrote about above. We have the first subtopic, the meaning of nutrition. I gave some pictures, and this will help deaf learners to easily relate to what they see in their environment and write and answer the questions in this section. For example, what is nutrition, the modes of nutrition, and this will also help them to improve their communication skills through presenting this work to the whole class. Again, we have the subtopic 2, the nutrients in the food we eat. Here are the pictures showing the different categories of food, and here is a table to help learners write the food sources they see from the above table and their importances to our body. Then these are the different questions the different questions the learners are to answer, and then they will present their findings to the rest of the class, and their reference is their pictures are presented to them. Again, subtopic 3 about food tests. Again, these pictures about food tests, learners will be able to write down their conclusions, their observations, and the food tests they have carried out. So, according to those pictures, again, we have subtopic 4, a balanced diet. We have a picture showing different categories of people, and the deaf learners will be able to answer. So they will write what is happening in those pictures, the food nutrients that the different individuals in the pictures need, and then the reasons to support their answers, and then they present their findings to the rest of the class. Then we have subtopic 5. Here they have the matching test item, and learners will be able to match according to the content in the book. They will be able to match the picture to the deficient nutrient, and they will be able to suggest the reasons for their matches. The likely effects of each deficiency of the nutrient mentioned in the above in humans, and then they list the foods in the community, their community. Such individuals can add to their diet to avoid such effects. So again, I gave them some practical one according to the picture, and this is according to the picture. We see a support material with kids, and the question goes, the people in their community have a challenge of deficiency disease in the subtopic 5, and their teacher has selected them on the sensitization campaign to help those overcome the diseases in the community. So this support material will help them to prepare a poster they will use to sensitize the people in their community on how to overcome the deficiency disease. So that is all I did for my visualization. And lastly, we have the eMind map conclusion of the whole topic. We have 5 subtopics, and the first one is the modes of nutrition and the meaning of nutrition, what we say when we talk about the nutrition types and the nutrient compounds. Then you have the nutrient in the food we eat. That is our second subtopic. with their respective visuals. Then we have the food tests, we have the balanced diet, and then we have the nutrient deficiency in humans or lack of nutrients. That's all I had for this project. May the good God bless you. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.